Ladies and gentlemen, a commencement with no attendees. My uncle declared, recording me in the vacant hall I'd rented. Mom messaged, "We're at your brother's new home celebration. Don't be upset, love you." Then Dad chimed in, "Food's on your card, just $5,600, forgot mine." I stayed silent, sent a thumbs-up emoji. An hour later, I arranged a delivery to my brother's new place. They grinned until they saw the note. Then the calls began. I'm Jamie, 27, the first in my family to earn a degree, the eldest sibling who mastered managing bills, side hustles, and being the go-to tech support for everyone's devices. I'm the one who stays up late, confirms travel plans, books venues because I know how. I rarely drink, track expenses meticulously, and carry extra batteries like it's a sacred duty. I'm also the child they forget to cheer for. That morning my hands trembled as I fastened my gown. I'd reserved a modest campus room for an hour post-ceremony. Nothing lavish, just a simple space with folding chairs, a portable speaker, coffee dispensers, and a sheet cake bought with my latest overtime earnings. I set up a tripod for my phone by the stage and arranged programs with my name correctly spelled. It felt foolishly optimistic. I stood under harsh fluorescent lights, breathing air that smelled of citrus disinfectant. The janitor gave me a nod and said, "Nice job, champ." I grinned like I meant it. 5 minutes passed. 10. Students passed by with families and balloons, each wave a sting, each embrace a reflection I couldn't join. My phone stayed silent. The family group chat, usually buzzing with breakfast pics, was a lifeless blue void. "Ladies and gentlemen, a commencement with no attendees," my uncle announced, too loudly, filming from the doorway like I was a rare sighting. He swept the camera across the empty seats and whistled, "Epic." I stared into the lens, my throat parched. He chuckled, "Just teasing, kid, they're delayed." He said delayed like it was a destination. I glanced at my phone. A text from Mom glowed, "At your brother's housewarming, don't be bitter, love you." Before I could process, another message landed, "Dad, food's on your card, $5,600, forgot mine." My grip tightened on the phone. The screen blurred, then sharpened. I felt the fragile tape on the cake box strain as if the air itself could snap it. Uncle kept recording. "Smile," he said. I didn't. I looked at the stage, the budget banner with my name, the rows I'd paid for chair by chair. I thought of Mom's words, "Family shows up. That's what counts." I thought of last month, fixing Dad's email while he suggested I take fewer pointless courses. I thought of my brother buying a new TV the week I asked for textbook help. The lights buzzed. A janitor's cart squeaked faintly down the hall. "Say something," Uncle urged, lowering his phone slightly for the video. "I'll share the link," I said. He winked. "That's the spirit." I sat on the stage's edge. I pictured my family bursting in late, apologizing with flair, claiming traffic or a wrong turn. I imagined them laughing, hugging me, erasing the last hour. My chest ached with how vivid the fantasy felt. 3 texts arrived. Aunt Lena sent a balloon emoji. My brother posted a clip of champagne fizzing in his new kitchen. Mom sent a cheese platter photo captioned, "So proud." The cheese was sharp, the U was not. I exhaled. The air smelled of frosting and dust. "Want to slice the cake?" Uncle asked. "Not yet," I said. He glanced at his watch. "Can't stay long. Traffic." "Sure," I said. I adjusted the banner because when things crack, I fix small things and pretend it mends the rest. The speaker chirped as it reconnected. Somewhere nearby, another family cheered. My hands shook, blinked again, this time with a sharper edge. I set the phone face down. I didn't reply to anyone. I didn't plead. I just listened to the fluorescent hum and the faint, tight sound of my heart trying to stay calm. Uncle filmed one last sweep and said, "Almost too soft to hear, rough audience." I nodded. "Yeah," he left. The door clicked shut and the empty room felt like a confession. I stared at the cake, imagining cutting it into precise squares as if care could ration love. I didn't move. When the hour ended, I stacked the chairs I'd arranged for them, folded the banner, and tucked it into my bag with the tenderness of saving a memento. I turned off the light and let the darkness speak what the group chat wouldn't. I didn't cry. I didn't post. I stood in the hallway, letting silence wrap around me like a truth I'd ignored too long. My family's pattern is acting like the house isn't burning while asking me to hold the extinguisher and pay the bill. Mom says I'm great with finances, which means I take the hit. Dad calls me dependable, meaning I'm the uncomplaining support for their choices. My brother, Nico, calls me Vault. Sometimes it's a joke. Sometimes he forgets to chuckle. It started small, gas money just this once. A phone bill that didn't auto-pay, Mom's dental crown deposit reimbursed next month. Next month became a habit, then a tradition, then a rule I couldn't escape. When I got my campus job, Dad asked for my bank details for emergency transfers. Emergencies happened on weekends or during sales. Nico upgraded phones thrice in a year because the camera wasn't sharp enough. My name was on 2 family phone lines, a gym membership, and the Costco account. When I mentioned I was also covering rent, tuition, and a summer course to graduate on time, Mom blinked like I'd stated the obvious. "We're family," she said. "We pitch in." I learned not to argue. Pushback brought words like ungrateful, dramatic, selfish. Silence brought others, proud, rock star, so generous. Praise was a voucher for future debts. When Nico got his dealership promotion, a job Dad secured after 3 others didn't fit, we threw a backyard bash. I grilled, bought string lights, paid the neighbor for extra tables. At midnight, Nico whispered, "Hate to ask, Vault, but rent's tight." He said it into my hair like a cheer. 2 months later, when I needed $120 for a lab fee, I texted the group chat, "Can anyone help? I'll repay after extra shifts." Mom, don't make it about money. Dad, plan better. Nico, silence. That night he posted new sneakers captioned, "Had to." We don't talk. We make noise. When I mention boundaries, Mom says, "After all we've done for you," citing early test drives, piano lessons I loathed, a roof over my head. I'm grateful for it all, but exhausted by paying endless interest on a debt with no limit. I thought graduation would rewrite the equation. A stage, a diploma, a new story. We're proud. You did it. We'll come to you. Instead, Nico planned his housewarming the same day, claiming the caterer locked the date, and everyone had RSVP'd as if that shocked him, as if everyone didn't include my blood. A week before, I reminded the chat. Graduation Saturday, 10 a.m., reception after, I rented the hall. I added confetti emojis, foolishly hopeful. Nico, oops, housewarming's at noon. We'll try to make it. Mom, don't be rigid, it's just a stage walk. Dad, don't start, we'll see you later. Later lives next to never in our family. That night I printed place cards with my name in tidy letters, packed plastic forks, ironed my borrowed gown, and made a playlist to fill the room's hollowness. The day arrived. You know the rest. Empty hall, Uncle's camera, Mom's text from a kitchen not mine. The money hit harder than the silence. Dad's caterings on your card felt like a glitch, a joke he'd correct with my mistake. Then I remembered. Last month he'd asked for my card to book your gown because his laptop glitched. I'd felt included. He'd photographed my card on the table so I don't lose it. I told myself it was just for the fee. If you've never felt the weightless dread of your number feeding someone else's party, let me tell you, your ribs feel it first. I didn't respond. I didn't say no. I said nothing. My mind calculated in the background like a lagging app. $5,600 is months of rent, a reliable car, the debt I've been out running with side gigs that burn my eyes. On the walk home, tassel swinging uselessly, I scrolled Nico's stories. New couch, new TV, cheers under string lights. Caption, family first. Mom, always. Dad, fire emoji. I set the phone down, stared at the wall, tried to breathe without begging. Aunt Lena called, saw the posts. "You okay?" she asked softly. "Fine," I lied. "Your mom says you're too sensitive." She says don't make a scene. I glanced at my bare kitchen. I'm not at their party, right? "That's why they're worried," she said. That night I spread bank statements on my table like a blueprint. My name, their charges, my card, their dinners. I marked dates with a fading yellow pen that scratched the paper. My breath thinned. Life sometimes taps your shoulder politely, sometimes grabs your face. This did both. I thought of every sure, every it's fine, every don't worry. They'd built a road to an empty hall I'd funded. Nico posted a clip of clinking glasses. "Mom, so proud of what we built." I laughed, a sharp sound that startled me. I opened the group chat, fingers poised, typed nothing, deleted nothing, stared until the screen showed my tired, too old eyes. I flipped the statements over, wrote a simple, true sentence on a sticky note, and tucked it in my pocket like an unpulled trigger. By noon, the housewarming was in full swing. Notifications pulsed like a headache. Living room tour, pantry walkthroughs, a Zoom on a charcuterie board big enough for a side table. Nico filmed opening my gift, the air fryer I'd bought him months ago when he complained his oven ran hot. He held it up yelling, "Vault delivers," he winked. Kidding. Sort of. I sat on my apartment floor, statements stacked neatly, laptop open to my bank's fraud page. I closed it. I wasn't ready to be the story where I quietly fix it and no one grows. I ordered a delivery to Nico's new home. Not pizza, not flowers, but 6 plain shipping boxes from the company that sent his bar stools. Inside each, I placed copies, color tabbed, of every charge I'd covered for 4 years. Rent loans, phones, dentist, emergencies, whoops. On top, a laminated one-page tally, totals by person, category, month. At the bottom, a QR code linking to a drive folder labeled proof. And the note, the sentence from the sticky note, now printed large. This is the final thing I'll ever cover. The courier asked if I wanted a gift message. Yes, I typed, congrats on the new place. Repay what you owe to the listed address. Jamie. An hour later, Nico posted the boxes arriving. Guests cheered like it was decor. He sliced the tape with a butter knife, still filming, still smiling, until he saw the first page. Someone off-screen said, "Whoa." Another laughed, then stopped. The room hushed. He flipped through pages. The camera wobbled, then cut off. 30 seconds later, Mom called. I let it ring. She texted, "What's this? Undo it. You're ruining Nico's day. Dad, we need to talk." Now, Nico, what's wrong with you? I didn't answer. I opened the group chat, attached the tally PDF, and wrote, "Effective today, my cards are frozen, accounts locked, number unavailable for emergencies." Mom, don't be dramatic. Dad, your mom's crying. Fix this. A cousin I hadn't heard from in ages. Wow, harsh. I took a photo of the untouched cake in my fridge, one fork mark in the frosting where my hand slipped. I didn't send it. I sent nothing. The phone rang again. Aunt Lena, I answered. "You safe?" she asked quietly. "Yeah. I saw the PDF. That's not petty, that's a reckoning." "I'm done," I said. She paused. "They'll paint you as the bad guy in a script they wrote years ago. Keep everything, screenshots, voicemails, dates." "I have them," I said. I'd labeled folders, learned from being the one who tracks batteries. The chat erupted. Three-way shouting, Mom using my full name to shrink me, Dad citing respect, Nico repeating, "Family doesn't do this." I opened my bank app, reported fraud on the catering charge, noted. Card photographed without consent. Merchant confirmed new card used for phone authorization by a third party. I changed my PIN, disabled tap to pay, requested a new card to a PO box I'd opened last month, sensing this coming. I wrote to the chat, "Collect the boxes, keep the copies. The originals are mine." Mom, you always wanted to shame us. On your graduation, no less. I stared at that line until it blurred. Then I typed, "You weren't there." I sent it, set the phone down, listened to the silence. 5 minutes later, Dad called from an unknown number. I answered, "No hello." "Thought this through?" he asked. "Or just acting emotional like your mom?" "Years of thought," I said. "Nico has guests," he said. "Important ones. You made him look foolish." "He did that opening a box labeled proof," I said. His breath caught that half laugh when he wants control. "Think you're above us now? A degree doesn't change your roots." "No," I said. "I changed what my roots pay for." He hung up. I stared at the wall until it looked like a chart. Then a text came from an unknown number, a photo of the laminated tally, my note, the total underlined in red with scrawled words. "She means it, I did." I expected to feel hollow. Instead, I felt still, not joyful, not sorrowful, just a clear quiet where chaos used to live.
The first day was noisy. Mom called Lena. Lena called me. Dad called my boss to discuss Jamie's conduct. My boss shut it down. "We're not doing this." Nico posted a black square. Some give to get. His friends added fire emojis, clueless. Then the bills hit. The caterer called Dad. Card declined. The rental company called. My name was on the chair invoice because Dad used my email as contact since you respond. I forwarded the contract, circled my signature, highlighted client, Nico, CC'd their accounts person, direct future correspondence to the client. This email closes in 48 hours. I set an auto reply. Money requests? No. Mom left a voicemail, sobbing, words stumbling. "How could you ruin Nico's day?" I listened twice, not to hurt, but to hear her playbook where I'm the villain so she doesn't face the gap where care should be. I saved it. I saved everything. Monday, my supervisor brought donuts with a note. "Congrats, grad." I read it thrice in the break room. The kindness loosened a knot I hadn't noticed. A classmate dimmed a graduation photo, me on stage, smiling like I belonged. "Your speech was my favorite," she wrote. I gave no speech, but saved the message to remember someone saw me there. That night, I blocked half my family, not spite, survival. I kept Lena and one cousin unblocked. They talk like people. I muted the chat, set the phone down, and the quiet became livable. Wednesday, an envelope hit my P.O. box. Dad's check for $400, a note. Token. Let's move on. His tough love handwriting screamed he wanted credit for being fair. I studied the check, not for the amount, but for the shape of token. Move on. He meant Take scraps, call it a meal. Forget the rest. I mailed it back with page 1 of the tally and a letter. Payments in full or agreed installments. Partial gestures without debt acknowledgement will be returned. See totals. I added the QR code. People skip text unless it's scannable. Nico texted from a new number. You're killing mom's health. Then, a watch photo. Treat yourself when life's rough. I didn't reply. A friend did, in his comments. Maybe treat your sister by paying her back. It got likes, then went quiet. A week later, Mom called via Lena's phone. I answered, trusting Lena to hang up if it soured. Mom started gentle. We're family. This is messy. It is, I said. It got messy slowly, over years. She sighed. Nico's stressed. So was I said. Silence. Then, you shamed us. You skipped my graduation and billed me $5,600, I said, voice steady. I returned the absence. She shifted. What'll people think? That I earned a degree, I said, and learned to count. She made it sound like a lock turning and hung up. Then the tide turned. Cousins texted quietly. Not all, but some. Saw what happened. Sorry. One sent $50 for cake we should have shared. I cried for 10 seconds, forehead on the cabinet, grief seeping from odd corners. When my new card arrived, I tucked it in my wallet, felt a tiny click, a reset you hear when noise stops. I made a budget, me. Rent, savings, therapy session, coffee with a friend, no price checking. It felt absurd and sacred that I sent Nico a formal demand letter. Not lawyer drafted, but sharp with dates, amounts, consequences. Not threats, boundaries with teeth. He replied, LOL, you'll sue? I archived it. Action speaks softer than arguments. 2 Fridays later, I attended a department backyard party. Someone toasted the grads. People clapped. It was ordinary, warm, so unlike my family, my body didn't know where to store the feeling. A professor, usually reserved, said, You earned this. I half believed her. At 11 p.m., my phone buzzed. A housewarming video damned, screen recorded when Nico opened the boxes. His smile vanishes. Someone whispers, That's heavy. He drops the pages like they sting. I didn't feel victorious, just precise. I slept through the night, a first in months. Here's the surprise. The void my family left wasn't empty. It filled with morning walks, a renewed library card, a sitcom that made me laugh so hard I startled myself, coffee with Lena where we skipped Nico's name. A LinkedIn message led to an internship, then a job interview, then me crying in a bathroom stall because good news hurts when it's new. Mom sent a message via Lena. We miss you. Like missing works without seeing. Nico says he'll call. I replied, payments to the P.O. box. Boundaries hold. I love you from here. Not cruel, clear. When Dad's first real payment arrived, a number with a comma, I photographed it, filed it in receipts/inbound. I posted nothing, told only Lena. She sent 3 clapping emojis and, proud of you. On my fridge, I taped the laminated sentence. This is the final thing I'll ever cover. It looks stern, sad, perfect. I keep recalling that empty hall, the light on the cake, the banner folded into my bag, untouched by hands but mine. For a while, it felt like proof I didn't matter. Now at the moment, I stood alone and didn't collapse. People ask about my family. I say, we're on a break. It's true, a long, still pause where I live like a person, and they learn my wallet isn't theirs. Maybe they won't learn. That's fine. I did. The money will resolve, by plan or silence. Either way, I stopped funding their lessons, their cheers, the idea that love means being drained. A week into my new job, HR slid a form across. Beneficiaries? I wrote my name, Lena, as secondary. The pen wavered, then steadied. The morals plain, sturdy. Be generous after you're secure. Say no without a presentation. Keep your degree and dignity in the same file. And when someone says, ladies and gentlemen, a commencement with no attendees, you can scan the empty room and think, the key one showed up. Me.